Here's to hoping I'm in focus. Hey guys, Adrian here for digitaldojos.com, and today I want to do a video response, and this is just to kind of take a trip down technology memory lane for you guys and talk a little bit about my first Mac purchase and how that came to be in the Macs I own and why it's relevant to today. I know they don't have video responses anymore. I know that feature's been taken out, but I'm still going to call it that. This video is inspired by a YouTuber by the name of Tim Toda, or you guys may know him as the Apple Freak. I've been following his content for a while. He did a video talking about his first Mac experience and like why he bought it and the whole story behind that. I thought it'd be interesting to share with you guys because it's a little bit of technology history for me. Alright, so 8 years ago I started on my channel youtube.com/LarryForCoolMan. I started with a compact Presario PC. That PC I used to play video games like World of Warcraft, all that jazz. And that PC is the reason I got started on YouTube. So I own it to that Windows PC for that because it broke down. I learned all about computers because of that to fix it. And I just got really, really intrigued at the time. I had no idea really what I wanted to do in life at the time. I bounced around in government and other interests, but technology really caught my attention because of its ever-changing nature. And when I learned that there's other things outside of Windows, like Mac OS X and Linux, like that stuff, I had no notion of that stuff. I grew up in a family that had computers, and we had Windows 95. That's as far as back as I remember, like the computer using. But we never, like my family was very, in the sense that we always kept it. If it worked, then we kept it. We only upgraded when we needed to. We never had a Mac. So I never really knew about that stuff. And then I learned all about Mac OS X and Macs at the time, and I was just so, like, encapsulated into this other world, essentially. I remember if you go back to my main channel, you can see my videos, my very, very, very first vlogs were about Mac versus PC, when Mac versus PC was a huge, huge debate on YouTube. Like, it was super serious back then. And I, even though I had no idea what I was talking about, and if I watch those videos now I cringe, I owe it to those videos because they kind of got my footing in YouTube and really started me off, essentially. But yeah, I met all these other YouTubers on the Mac side. I remember watching all their tutorials on software that I couldn't have or use on the Windows side, and I was just so dedicated to buy my first Mac. And I wanted an iMac at the time, and you know that's like maybe $1,000 to $2,000 at the time, and as an 11 to 12-year-old at that time, that was like that might as well have been $10,000 to me. But I told myself I was going to own it one day. And I kept on doing YouTube videos, kept on doing things on the Windows side. I did over like hundreds and hundreds of tutorials on the Windows end. I remember the first Mac I got to kind of play around with was just a G4, an iMac G4. I believe that's what it's called, the translucent CRT-based iMacs, all in one. And I just thought the hardware design, even though it was something that was old, my friends actually found it. Somebody threw it out at like a local tower, like an apartment complex type thing. And it was in mint condition. They brought it over to me because I knew I was interested in that sort of stuff, and I like learned all about it. And it was running OS 9. It still worked. It was really, really interesting. And then I kept that around for a while until I just recently recycled it. And then I remember my sister who went to college. I have two sisters. My eldest one, she went to college and she used this. This is those original MacBooks. If you guys remember these, the plastic bodied. The battery's obviously missing and it doesn't work at all really nowadays because the battery's shot. But I remember every time she would come back from college visits, because she went to college in the States, I was in Japan, overseas, I would always ask her if I could use it, and I asked her if I could do videos on it for my YouTube channel and just mess around with it for like an hour or whatever. And I even ended up somehow, I have no idea how I pulled this off, I got iShowU, it's a screen recording program. I think the software still exists today, to sponsor some of my videos, my podcasts, and give me some keys to review the software and give away. I got them to sponsor me even though I had no Mac, like to my name at the time. I was just borrowing my sister's, so that's a real funny kind of backstory. Anyways, eventually she graduated, got a MacBook Pro. She donated that one to me, so it was like a hand-me-down Mac. And it wasn't, the best at the time, give or take. I was just about to start high school. I used it for a lot of things, and I used it to my heart's content. I hooked it up to a desktop or a monitor, and I used it in desktop mode a lot. And then just as I started high school, my business really started to take a turn. I was making revenue. I was becoming more and more financially independent at the start of high school. So I remember I bought my very, very first. I like to call it my official Mac because it's the one I got to purchase all by myself and all that. And that was the iMac mid 2011, which I have sitting to my left. I know you can't see it right now. 27-inch model i5. I upgraded the heck out of that machine. I threw an SSD in there. I threw lots of RAM in there, and a lot of different other upgrades were put into it. And I just, it was that unboxing is still up. I remember that unboxing. I was like so excited that I was kind of just very quiet in the video. It was really late. I remember unboxing it. It was like early in the morning because I bought it and I didn't have time to unbox it because I had something else to do. But it was just a real surreal moment because not even because it was a Mac, but that achievement of like I actually got to save up and pay for something myself that I've been wanting for so long. So that still runs today. Ironically, it's running Windows right now. It sits to my left because it's more for gaming, and I have some software and stuff that I require, or like I have clients who require me to do stuff on the Windows end. So I have that open. But nowadays, I have the 2013 iMac on my right here. It's the thinner one. It's with an Apple Cinema display. That kind of runs the show for everything else. But yeah, I mean, that kind of comes full circle. And then I also have, of course, my MacBook Air, which I also purchased a couple years ago. This is a mid-2011 as well. So I purchased the iMac, purchased this, then I got that just like last year or something. So yeah, 3 Macs nowadays that I own pretty much and use. From the mobile to the desktop, and I've always preferred desktop, and I never really, outside the MacBook Air, I never really wanted to invest in a laptop because I'm usually just working from here in the home office. But yeah, it was an exciting thing for me. OS X was a new thing. After doing over nearly 1,000 videos on Windows, I was able to step back and have a whole new world to explore and try out different software and all these great things. And I really owe it to Mac OS X because literally, the tools, the software I use, like ScreenFlow and other tools, enabled me to start the business that is ScreenCap today. Which, not to say I couldn't do it on Windows, it's just the tools weren't available at the time on Windows. And that really, I owe it to that to kind of, like, it's literally the tools I use to build and run my business. And I couldn't have done it any other way, really. And it's just I enjoyed the ease of use, I enjoyed the feeling of something new and all of that. And granted, yes, there are things I like between Windows and OS X and things that I miss about Windows, like the customability and really getting into it to customize the operating system and stuff like that. But as I grew older, as I became more and more occupied with work, I just wanted things that worked. I just wanted things that were simple and straightforward, and that's really where OS X fell into place for me. So that's just a little bit of backstory to my Macintosh purchasing and all of that. I know it's not for everybody. I know that there's still haters out there who will prefer Windows for certain things, prefer Linux for certain things, and that's all up to you. I'm a power user, I like to call myself. I use what's best for me at the current time. If that's Windows, that's Windows. If it's OS X, it's OS X. And right now, it just happens to be Macs, and that's what I invest my money into. I enjoy gaming on Windows. I play a lot of games. I've custom-built PCs and all that good stuff. So, it's the best of both worlds, really. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I know this is a little bit of a long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys want to leave your own comments and stories down below, whether it's a Mac or a PC, what's that first computer you really purchased and what's so significant? Why do you remember it so much? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.